Hello and welcome to the viewers of this video. This is the Orange Fan here, bringing you another entry for the episode Recap and Thoughts category. This video will be dedicated to the FUNimation dub of episode 103 of Dragonball Super. We begin this episode with Kakunsa changing back into Sankaku after being eliminated from the Tournament of Power. Like the end of the previous episode, Ribery is furious that Android 17 knocked Kakunsa and Bakal off the arena. In this episode, Ribery actually accuses Android 17 of being a villain because he eliminated those two fighters from the tournament. Android 17's reaction to these accusations are sort of similar to how Goku reacted when Top accused Goku of being a villain during the Zeno Expo, and Android 17 decides to play along with this. So while Android 17 is starting his fight with Ribery, we see that Rosie has resumed her fight with Goku, and she claims that she will never forgive Universe 7 for knocking Kakunsa off the arena. Eventually, Rosie is able to surround Goku with various energy blasts. This attack is actually similar to an attack that Piccolo used against Android 17 during the Cell Saga. Android 17 sees this, and he quickly rushes off to help Goku. Android 17 is able to protect Goku and himself from the energy blasts by activating his energy barrier. This is the same way that Android 17 protected himself from Piccolo's attack during the Cell Saga. So after that, Ribery resumes her fight with Android 17, and she's not happy about being ignored when Android 17 was helping Goku. We also see Goku continues his fight with Rosie, and Goku says that he has a better understanding of Rosie's fighting style now, and eventually Goku is able to catch Rosie off guard. He also says to Rosie what Android 17 said to Kakunsa before he, Android 17, knocked Kakunsa off the arena in the previous episode. But before Goku has the chance to actually knock Rosie off the arena, Universe 2's Yardratian arrives with instant transmission, and he uses instant transmission to escape with both Rosie and Ribery. Goku and Android 17 both take this turn of events extremely well, and they decide to split up so that they can find other opponents to fight. Beerus complains about how Goku's fighting style is sloppy, or he says something along those lines at least, but Champa says that there are other fighters from the 7th Universe team that his twin brother should be worried about right now. We quickly see what Champa is talking about when we see Bo Tommo is preparing to fight Gohan and Piccolo. But Gohan actually tells Piccolo that he would like to fight Bo Tommo himself, and Piccolo agrees to Gohan's request. Gohan begins to rapidly punch Bo Tommo, and this confuses several characters from Universe 7 because these characters know that Bo Tommo can absorb attacks without taking any damage. Goku arrives to watch Gohan's fight with Bo Tommo, and Goku also tells Piccolo that Goku, had told Gohan about the time he fought Bo Tommo during the Tournament of Destroyers, and Goku is confident that his older son has figured out a strategy to defeat Bo Tommo, and we quickly find out what this strategy is. While Gohan's attacks aren't actually damaging Bo Tommo, they do lift Bo Tommo off the ground. So Bo Tommo can't jump, he can't run, and he can't really fight back. He does try to fight back by launching mouth energy blasts towards Gohan, but he can't actually reach Gohan, so Bo Tommo is pretty much helpless right now. And with this strategy, Gohan manages to knock Bo Tommo off the arena, and Gohan also defends himself from one last mouth energy blast that Bo Tommo tries to launch towards Gohan. Bo Tommo can only apologize to an angry Champa after he's been sent to the spectator seats, and Goku is pleased with how Gohan defeated Bo Tommo, so Goku decides to resume his search for other opponents to fight. After Goku leaves, a humanoid green alien from Universe 10, voiced by Randy Perlman, arrives, and he compliments Gohan for his victory against Bo Tommo. This Universe 10 fighter also reveals his name to be Apne, and we see that Apne is with another fighter from Universe 10. This other fighter is a muscular red alien, and his name is Rubalt. He's voiced by Gabe Kunda. Apne wishes to challenge Gohan, and Rubalt decides to fight Piccolo, so a 2-on-2 match between Universe 7 characters and Universe 10 characters begins. Elsewhere, we see Universe 2's Yardratian use an energy blast to knock a humanoid blue alien from Universe 10 off the arena, and Ribery and Rosie are very impressed by this. This other Universe 10 fighter's name is revealed to be Zerkor, and he's actually voiced by Kerbifer. Universe 10's Angel Assistant is sad to see that an 8th fighter, Universe 10's Angel Assistant is sad to see that 8 fighters from the Universe 10 team have now been eliminated from the tournament, and Gowasu thinks that it might be time for them to accept their fate, but Ramush insists that Rubalt and Apne, Ramush insists that they still have hope with Rubalt and Apne still participating in the tournament, and he tells the 2 fighters that they are Universe 10's last hope. Before the fight actually begins, Gohan notices that Apne isn't leaving any openings in his fighting stance, so Gohan mentally notes to himself that he can't let his guard down around Apne. So the fight then begins, and Apne compliments Gohan for being able to keep up with him, and Apne also mentions how he's been looking forward to facing off against an opponent like Gohan. Apne then performs a technique where it looks like he's been split into several different colored copies of himself. Gohan says he can still sense Apne's energy signature, but he can't actually find Apne. Seeing this, Gowasu is starting to become more optimistic that Universe 10 might be able to survive. This is something that Universe 10's Angel Assistant notices and comments about. Whis reveals that Apne is able to separate his energy signature from his body movements so that his opponents can't read his body movements. Old Kai summarizes that this technique lets Apne use fake-outs, and Whis describes it along the lines of being a simple but still effective technique when it comes to using energy. Meanwhile, we see Piccolo using the attack he used against Android 17 during the Cell Saga on Rubalt, and he's able to easily defeat Rubalt this way. Piccolo then uses an energy blast to knock Rubalt off the arena. Rubalt apologizes to Gowasu after being sent to the spectator seats, but Gowasu assures Rubalt not to be so hard on himself because Apne is still participating in the Tournament of Power. The Omni Kings comment about how Goku's son is in a real pickle right now, and Gohan eventually powers up into his ultimate form, or his mystic form if you prefer. Apne continues to compliment Gohan for his skills in fighting, and Apne also compliments Gohan for fighting to the bitter end. He calls Gohan a true warrior. And eventually, Gohan figures out a way to find Apne's energy signature. He actually lets Apne attack him, and Gohan is able to counterattack. Apne's reaction is to smile, and he and Gohan continue their fight. Beerus realizes Gohan's strategy, allowing himself to be attacked so that he can counterattack. Whis notes, however, that Gohan is taking damage with this strategy, so this strategy is a double-edged sword. During the fight, Apne continues to compliment Gohan for his fighting skills, and he actually wishes to know Gohan's name. Gohan reveals his name to Apne, and Apne's response is that he's glad to have met Gohan during the Tournament of Power, but Apne also mentions that he now carries the fate of Universe 10 on his shoulders. Eventually, though, Apne uses too much energy, so he can no longer use his fake-out technique, and Gohan is able to knock Apne off the arena with a Kamehameha. The Grand Minister declares that Universe 10 will now be erased from existence since all their fighters have been eliminated from the tournament, and Gowasu assures Apne that he did his best. Gohan notices that after he knocked Apne off the arena, he actually unknowingly knocked something off of Apne. This item is a locket, and the locket contains a picture of Apne and his family, his wife and his baby offspring. The Omni Kings proceed to erase Universe 10 from existence, and Universe 10's angel assistant sadly says goodbye to Ramush. Gohan also notices that the locket is erased from existence too. So Piccolo tells Gohan that it's time for them to head to a different part of the arena. Gohan solemnly says he understands and walks off with Piccolo. We also see Hit and Dispo staring at each other, and the narrator mentions that there are 37 minutes left in the Tournament of Power, and that is how we end this episode. So this episode marks the moment where the second universe participating in the Tournament of Power has been erased from existence. And the second universe that's participating in the Tournament of Power has been erased from existence in this episode, and that universe happens to be Universe 10. The universe that was home to a Prodigy Supreme Kai in training, the same Prodigy Supreme Kai in training who ended up being the main villain of the previous saga, is the universe that was the second universe to be erased from existence. With Universe 10 being erased from existence now, I can't help but be reminded of certain thoughts that I have expressed in some other Recap and Thoughts videos. I have mentioned before that while the Zamasu saga is a saga I greatly enjoy, I may even call it one of my favorite sagas in the franchise, I do still feel that there were some missed opportunities with the Zamasu saga. And one of these missed opportunities is how Ramush and Universe 10's angel assistant didn't appear during the Zamasu saga. I think it would have been nice to have seen them show up, and I would have liked to have seen Zamasu's interactions with those two. And seeing more of the Universe 10 fighters, I also think it would have been nice if we got to see some of these Universe 10 fighters appear in the Zamasu saga before they appeared in the Universe Survival saga. And part of that is also influenced by the Champa saga, because in the Champa saga, we did get to see Fua, Universe 6's Supreme Kai, even though Champa was the divine being, or Champa and Vados, Champa and Vados, maybe more so Champa, were the divine beings that got more attention in the Champa saga, but we still got to see Fua in the Champa saga, and we did get to see 5 mortals from Universe 6 appear. So, I do feel it was a missed opportunity that some of the Universe 10 team fighters and Ramush and Universe 10's angel assistant didn't appear during the Zamasu saga. There was a lot of potential for some great interactions and to see Zamasu's reaction to some of these different mortals, or how Zamasu might still try to justify his hatred for mortals with characters like Apne. But we'll talk a little bit more about Apne in a little while. Something I did notice, I think an important detail bringing up was Universe 10's angel assistant's reaction to Universe 10 being erased from existence. Her reaction is different from her brother who supervises Universe 9. The Universe 9 angel assistant didn't really care that Universe 9 was erased from existence. He actually seemed happy to be rid of Universe 9. But Universe 10's angel assistant, on the other hand, is actually sad to see Universe 10 erased from existence. She actually did seem to care about the beings from Universe 10, and she did seem very fond of Ramush, too. Yes, and this reminds me of a detail. I brought this detail up before, but I'll bring it up again for those who might not have seen that video or who might not know about this. But recent supplementary material has confirmed that even though Universe 10's Angel Assistant looks like she'd be the youngest, she's actually the oldest of the Grand Minister's kids, so she's the oldest of the Angel's siblings. So again, that's a little by-the-way detail for anyone who is curious. And while Universe 10 was the focus by the end of the episode because they ended up being erased from existence, we still got to see some other universes get some attention. At the beginning of the episode, we saw a bit of Universe 2 with how Ribery was fighting Android 17 and how Rosie was fighting Goku. And I think this episode gives me an idea of why some people might not have liked Ribery. Yes, at the beginning of this episode, Ribery accused Android 17 for being a villain for eliminating 2 Universe 2 fighters from the Tournament of Power, even though the Tournament of Power is about one of these participating universes surviving. And yes, Android 17 is obviously defending Universe 7. Android 17 is trying to survive with Universe 7. So the whole point of the tournament is to survive. So I guess you could say Ribery showed an example of moral myopia. For those unfamiliar with the term, moral myopia could essentially be described along the lines of, it's bad if you do it, but it's okay if I do it. And yeah, Ribery is defending Universe 2 in the Tournament of Power, and she considers that to be a good thing, but she acts like Android 17 is the bad guy because he eliminated other fighters from other universes, or fighters from her universe, from the tournament, even though Android 17 is trying to survive and trying to ensure his universe's survival, like Ribery is trying to ensure her universe's survival. So, Android 17 even points this out. He's like, he's defending his own universe, but he decides to play along with Ribery's accusations anyway. But yeah, I think Ribery's moral myopia here is probably one of the examples of why some people aren't fond of Ribery. But speaking for Ribery, or at the same time, I've noticed how some fans have admitted that they actually don't really have a problem with Ribery hearing Veronica Taylor voice her. Or yes, some fans have said that Veronica Taylor voicing Ribery makes them not dislike the character so much compared to when they watch the sub version. And I brought this up before. This does seem to bring to mind a situation with Duplicate Vegeta. Some fans admitted they didn't really like Duplicate Vegeta when they watched the sub episodes that he was in for his 3-parter. Yes, when his 3-parter aired in the sub, when the sub version of his 3-parter aired, there were quite a bit of fans that said they didn't like Duplicate Vegeta. But when the Funimation dub of his 3-parter aired, some fans actually grew to like Duplicate Vegeta because he was voiced by Brian Drummond, Vegeta's voice artist in the Ocean dub. So yeah, it seems like Ribery is in a similar boat to Duplicate Vegeta. Some fans weren't really fond of the characters when they watched the sub version, but the Funimation dub actually gave them a little bit more to like about the characters thanks to who's voicing those characters. So that was an interesting detail, and like I said, I think that might partially contribute. I think Ribery's moral myopia probably contributes to why some fans aren't fond of the character. But besides Universe 2, we do get to see a little bit of Universe 6 in action. Bo Tommo is actually the first Universe 6 fighter to be eliminated from the Tournament of Power. And yes, Bo Tommo was the first Universe 6 fighter that was fought during the Tournament of Destroyers during the Champa Saga. So I guess that seems appropriate. The first Universe 6 fighter to be defeated in the Tournament of Destroyers is the first Universe 6 fighter to be defeated in the Tournament of Power. And yes, I did like how Goku was confident in Gohan's strategy to defeat Bo Tommo, and it was nice to see Goku. I liked seeing Goku watch Gohan fight Bo Tommo and being confident that Gohan would win against Bo Tommo. I think that helps to counter that that really obnoxious joke. I've mentioned it before, but I really dislike the joke where some fans keep trying to insist Goku is a bad dad. That joke is really obnoxious to me. And so seeing Goku be proud of his son, seeing Goku is proud of his son and confident in his son's abilities is nice to counter that Goku is a bad dad joke. I really dislike that joke. I wish that joke would not be around anymore, but I wouldn't be surprised if that joke continues to exist, even if I'm not a fan of it. But yes, while Universe 2 and Universe 6 got attention, we did get to see some attention for Universe 10. Apne, in particular, the last Universe 10 fighter, got a fair bit of attention. He was the Universe 10 fighter who put up a good fight. Or among the Universe 10 fighters, he was the one who put up the best fight among the Universe 10 fighters. And Apne was also revealed to be a foil for Gohan. He has a family too, a wife and a baby offspring like Gohan. So I thought that was a nice moment, having Gohan face off against an opponent who's in a similar situation that he's in. He wants to defend his family. He wants to ensure, of course he wants to make sure his universe survives, but his family is his big motivation for fighting in the Tournament of Power. And so I thought that was a pretty powerful moment that Gohan's opponent, or Gohan's main opponent in this episode, was an opponent who was in a similar situation that he was in. And the Locket scene was really stood out to me. I thought it was a very powerful moment. And while I'm thinking about, or speaking of Apne, I recently, I heard, if what I've heard is to be believed, apparently Toyotaro, the author for the manga, if you prefer, version of Dragon Ball Super, had left a post on Twitter. And from what I understand, Toyotaro seems to suggest the possibility that Apne might be a member of the species that Ginyu is a member of, or at least the body that we usually see Ginyu with. One of the big debates among fans of the franchise is whether or not Ginyu's usual body is his original body or the latest in a long line of stolen bodies. That's always been a big debate among fans, but pretty much the usual form of Ginyu, that purple alien form. Apparently Toyotaro commented in this Twitter post that there's a possibility that Apne might be a member of this species. Now, I don't think he outright said he is, just he said it's a possibility. Now, if this is true, assuming that this is true, assuming that Apne really is a member of the species that Ginyu's usual body is if Apne really is a member of the same species that Ginyu is, or at least Ginyu's usual body, this would be another example of how universes don't need to be twin universes to share species in common. Universe 2 also showed this with how Universe 2 has a Yardratian. Yes, Universe 2 has a Yardratian, and Universe 2 is not the twin universe of Universe 7. Universe 6 is. So, yes, Universe 2's Yardratian shows us that that universes don't need to be twin universes in order to share species in common. So it's possible. Again, I don't think he explicitly said that Apne is a member of the species that Ginyu is a member of, but he seems to at least consider the possibility. And because of what we've seen with the Universe 2 Yardratian, I do think it is possible. I think it wouldn't be unreasonable to suspect that it is possible. Otherwise, we do get to see more of Gowasu. Yes, Gowasu was shown to comfort of the Universe 10 fighters while they were being defeated in this episode. And this highlights why I really do like Gowasu. Among the characters introduced in Dragon Ball Super, Gowasu quickly became a favorite of mine. I find Gowasu to be a very relatable character, especially with how he was trying to keep Zamasu on the right path, but unfortunately Zamasu just wasn't willing to listen to reason. So I did feel bad for Gowasu throughout the course of the Zamasu saga, and here too I do feel bad for Gowasu. I'm really sad to see Gowasu go. I really grew to like the character. But Gowasu, it was heartwarming how he was comforting the Universe 10 fighters. He didn't hold it against them. He complimented them for doing their best. So, yeah, Gowasu is a cool guy in my book. And I'm sad to see him go. And, while I'm thinking about it, there is something I noticed. There was an inconsistency with a character's name. In an earlier episode in the Universe Survival Saga, Universe 10's destroyer's name was Ramoosh, or he was introduced with the name Ramoosh. But in this episode, they called him Rumshi in the Funimation dub, and that kind of confused me, but yes, this wouldn't be the first time. There were a few other instances in the Universe Survival Saga where some characters had inconsistent names. Like, they were introduced with one name in an earlier episode, but had a different name in a later episode. And I don't know the exact reason for this inconsistency. If I had to take a guess, my guess would be that it's possible that the staff at Funimation might have had their wires crossed. They might have been trying to reach the deadlines for the Toonami airings. Yes, they probably had to meet the deadline to get these episodes ready for when they air on Toonami, and it's possible that they might have had their wires crossed, especially because I do know that at one point they did have to try and dub the Dragonball Super movie at one point while they were trying to dub this saga, or they had to take a break from dubbing this saga to dub the Dragon Ball Super movie, from what I understand. So it's possible that they might have had their wires crossed and had to rush some of the episodes along to meet the deadlines for Toonami. And I can sympathize with that. I know what that's like to be in that position where some other outside circumstances kind of throw off your schedule, and you have to try and rush to get back on schedule or meet deadlines, and your wires can get crossed more easily. I can sympathize with that. I can understand that. And with other examples of these inconsistencies, though, they have been fixed for the home release. From what I understand, the home release had fixed some of these errors. So I think they'll fix them for the home release too. I think they'll stick with a consistent name once the home release for these episodes air. But it would still probably be a good idea to at least let them know about these inconsistencies. From what I understand, the best course of action is to let Rowley Pickens know on Twitter. For those curious, Rowley Pickens is one of the voice directors for the Funimation dub of Dragon Ball Super, and from what I understand, it's easier to, or it's more likely for Rowley Pickens to see a Twitter post. So if anyone has a Twitter post, I don't have Twitter myself, at least as of the recording of this video, I don't have Twitter. Yes, maybe in the future, but as of the recording of this video, I don't have Twitter. But for anyone who does have Twitter, it probably would be a good idea to let Rowley Pickens know about these name inconsistencies, just to make sure that they can fix them for the home release so that we can have consistent names for the characters. But yeah, I went off on a tangent there, but I thought it was worth bringing up. But otherwise, there we go for now. So I liked how this episode gave Gohan the chance to shine, and we did get to see a little bit of Universe 2 and Universe 6, but Universe 10 also got significant focus since Universe 10 has now been erased from existence. I liked Apne. I thought Apne was a very likable character with how he was respectful towards Gohan. He considered Gohan to be a worthy opponent, and yeah, he was a good sport about his defeat. He challenged Gohan for the sake of defending his universe, but also because he considered Gohan to be a worthy opponent, and he appreciated the fight he had with Gohan, and he was glad to meet Gohan. Apne was a very likable character, and it's a shame that it is kind of sad how Universe 10 has been erased from existence. Like I said, it does remind me about some missed opportunities with the Zamasu saga, even though I really do enjoy the Zamasu saga. But otherwise, yeah, so with the end of this episode, there's 6 teams participating in the Tournament of Power left out of the 8. So, yes, we'll have to wait and see which universe will be the next to be erased from existence. Those who know ahead of time through the sub-anime or the manga, or just read up about it through other details will know, of course, but For the dub-only viewers, we'll have to play the waiting game to see which universe will be next. But there we go for now. So as of this video, we've now discussed the Funimation dub of episode 103 of Dragon Ball Super on this channel. Take care, and until next time.